Alright, this isn't just another NYC sighting. This is the kind of detail that's now sending the internet into full-blown detective mode, and it all starts with one very specific thing: umbrellas. Just when people thought they had the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding chatter figured out, new theories are exploding online after what happened in New York last week involving Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and it's suddenly getting a lot more interesting than expected. Because while Travis was fully visible on set shooting a Tommy Hilfiger campaign getting photographed throughout the day, Taylor was operating on a completely different level of visibility. Reports say she was barely seen at all, and when she did move between locations, she was surrounded by umbrellas, almost like a moving shield, and that detail is exactly what set the internet off. Because the same umbrella-heavy cover strategy was also noticed again later that week when the couple visited the private members club Casa Cipriani. Given how often they're usually photographed in the city, the sudden switch in energy immediately raised eyebrows. From there, speculation did what it always does.
Everybody's asking about Taylor Swift now and about the show that she came to see us perform the other night. It was at Casa Cipriani, a very exclusive members club. There was a lot of security just hanging around her table.
Some fans jumped straight to wedding theories, talking about secret meetings, ring planning, even last-minute details being finalized, and things only intensified when people connected the dots between Taylor's friend Ashley Avignoni and jeweler Kindred Lubeck, who designed her engagement ring, with both reportedly crossing paths again around the same time. Now, whether any of that actually connects is still unclear, but online, it doesn't need to be confirmed to start trending. What is clear is that the umbrella situation hasn't reduced attention, it's multiplied it. Every covered exit now feels like a clue, even if it's just basic privacy in a city that rarely offers it. And that's the twist in all of this. Because even if its styling changes, scheduling, or just avoiding chaos during a high-profile week, the level of secrecy only fuels more curiosity. And knowing how controlled Taylor's rollout style usually is, it's hard to imagine anything truly major slipping out by accident. So whether the umbrellas mean privacy, timing, or just protection from the constant lens, one thing's obvious: whatever's happening right now, it's happening exactly where she wants it, off-camera and fully under wraps. And just when the Taylor Swift conversation was already everywhere, from wedding theories to NYC umbrella sightings, there's another update pulling her right back into the spotlight, this time on TV, because now Taylor's entire musical era is about to take over American Idol. During the latest episode, host Ryan Seacrest revealed that the top 7 contestants will be performing Taylor's biggest hits on the April 27th live show, with the theme officially focused on her chart-topping eras from early country days all the way to her pop domination years.
Next week, the top 7 will officially enter their Taylor Swift era. They'll be taking the stage celebrating the music of Taylor Swift with iconic songs from Taylor's acclaimed catalog, from her early country roots to her global pop anthems and all the Grammy-winning songs in between.
ABC also confirmed that the episode will be fully dedicated to celebrating her career, with America voting live to narrow things down to the top 5. Interestingly, though, it doesn't look like Taylor herself will be showing up for the episode, so it's more of a tribute night than an appearance. Adding to the buzz, comedian and longtime Swift fan Nikki Glaser is stepping in as guest judge, bringing an extra layer of personality to a night already built around one of the biggest catalogs in modern pop music. And this isn't even the first time this season her music has made waves on the show. Contestant Bryant Thomas previously performed Champagne Problems during Hollywood Week, a moment that clearly stood out even though his journey ended before the finale stages. So even without Taylor physically being there, her influence is still shaping the competition in a big way. Speaking of which, another completely unrelated story has somehow dragged her name right back into the conversation again, because now Josh Hutcherson is back in the spotlight, clarifying one very specific thing. He doesn't hate Taylor Swift, he's just not a fan of her music. And yes, that distinction apparently needed a whole explanation after the internet took his earlier comments way out of proportion. In a new interview, Josh explained that a past photo shoot with Jordan Firstman turned into a viral moment after he was asked about being a Swift fan. His response was honest but blunt. He basically said he's very much not a Swiftie, while still giving Taylor respect as an artist. But online, that didn't stay calm for long.
Are you a Swiftie?
I'm not a Swiftie.
No.
Very much not.
Very much.
Very much not.
Very.
No shade, all respect, but definitely not.
A little tiny shade. She can handle a little bit of shade from me.
He said the reaction spiraled fast, with people suddenly calling him everything from a hater to a monster, which obviously wasn't his intention at all, and things even veered into personal territory, with comments about his height being dragged into the conversation for no real reason. Josh made it clear, though, this was never about Taylor as a person, just a simple preference in music taste. In his words, her music just isn't his thing, but he still respects her work. And honestly, the whole situation is a pretty classic example of what happens whenever Taylor's name gets mentioned in any context online. It instantly escalates, even when the original comment is pretty mild. So while he's trying to step back and clear the air, it also just reinforces how massive her cultural footprint is right now. Because whether it's wedding theories, TV tributes, or completely unrelated interviews, Taylor Swift somehow ends up at the center of the conversation, either way. Much like in this next wild guest list theory that has entered the chat, and this one is already dividing fans. Because now there's growing chatter that Harry Styles could somehow end up at the wedding. Yes, that Harry Styles. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, it's not because of a sudden rekindling or anything dramatic like that. The connection here is actually a bit more indirect, and it runs through Zoe Kravitz, who was reportedly invited to the wedding. Zoe and Harry have been linked socially in recent months, and that's where the speculation starts. Could he show up as her +1? According to early reports, Zoe is on the guest list, but there's no confirmation on whether she'd bring Harry along. Still, that hasn't stopped insiders from stirring the pot, with some even claiming Harry may have already responded positively to the invite. And it doesn't stop there. Niall Horan has also been mentioned in the same circle of rumored attendees, adding even more One Direction energy to an already chaotic guest list conversation.
There are loads of weddings to go to.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What, huh?
I've got 2 weddings in a few weeks, so yeah, okay. I know what you're getting at, but you know what? F off!
I'm sorry.
What makes this even more interesting is the history involved. Harry and Taylor briefly dated back in 2012-2013, and while it was short-lived, it's still one of those relationships that fans have never really stopped talking about. Over the years, though, things have reportedly remained friendly enough that the idea of him attending isn't being completely shut down by insiders. In fact, people close to the situation have suggested Taylor has no issue with Zoe's connection to Harry, but at the same time, she's being very careful about keeping the wedding environment comfortable and drama-free, which is probably why nothing about the guest list has been confirmed publicly at all. Still, despite all the silence, the speculation keeps building, because the idea of Harry Styles potentially showing up at one of the most high-profile weddings in recent memory is exactly the kind of pop culture crossover people can't ignore. So for now, nothing is official, nothing is confirmed. But in true Taylor Swift fashion, even the possibility of a guest list ends up becoming its own headline. And if you thought speculation was reaching peak chaos, think again, because a much softer, more intimate moment from New York has started getting attention. Last Friday night at the private members club Casa Cipriani, Taylor and Travis weren't just seen out, they were actually in full low-key celebration mode with friends, music, and a surprisingly emotional atmosphere. Jazz musician Richie Nuzz, who performed that night, later described the experience as something genuinely special. He said Taylor wasn't just present, she was engaged, dancing, reacting, and fully in the moment while the band played. At one point, she even walked toward the stage and personally acknowledged the performers with a bow-like gesture and a blown kiss after what was reportedly a very generous tip.
Last night, Taylor Swift was at my show with her clique, her fiance, the whole thing. We played 2 hours, she stayed the whole time, and we went 30 minutes over. She gave us a very generous tip and blew me a kiss. What?
Another musician, guitarist Jackson Potter, later suggested the tip was around $200 per band member, though the exact amount hasn't been officially confirmed. Either way, the takeaway from everyone involved was the same. She was incredibly generous. According to Nuz, the energy in the room felt completely different from a typical celebrity appearance. It wasn't tense or overly controlled. It was warm, relaxed, and almost private, despite the high-profile guest list. Security and staff were nearby, but the vibe stayed surprisingly natural. He also noted that Travis was right there beside her throughout the night, with the couple sitting closely together, celebrating, and clearly in their own little world while the band played classic love songs.
All right, guys, so everybody's asking about Taylor Swift now and about the show that she came to see us perform the other night. And I just want to give you guys a little bit more details and give you the inside scoop on it. So it was at Casa Cipriani, a very exclusive members club. There was a lot of security just hanging around her table. But more than anything I noticed is that she was just having a good time, genuinely bringing great energy to us. And us musicians on stage, we were just having the best time performing because we knew what a special night this was. It might not happen again. But, I mean, it was just such a blessing to get that reaction from her, being, obviously such a fan, and she's such an iconic singer. And, I think she liked the blues the best. We were doing Elvis and some Tutti Frutti. And, I certainly will never forget this, and I hope it's not the last time I get to perform for her and meet her. But still vibing.
At one point, guests were even slow dancing to Frankie Valli's Can't Take My Eyes Off You, and the whole room reportedly picked up on the same mood, less celebrity sighting, more shared moment. And interestingly, this all happened after earlier reports that the club had gone to extreme lengths to protect their privacy, even asking guests to put their phones away before they arrived, ensuring the night stayed as discreet as possible. So while online theories continue to spiral about secrecy, umbrellas, and hidden wedding details, moments like this paint a slightly different picture. Not everything around them is hidden or tense. Some of it is actually just quiet, warm, and surprisingly normal. And in a world where everything they do gets analyzed, even a simple night out like this ends up becoming part of the bigger story. That's all for now, folks. See you on the next one.